Welcome to this brief overview of Raymond Park Middle School's Positive Behavior Interventions and Support Program. The focus of this presentation is our Tier 2 program, Check In and Check Out. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to identify differences between Tier 1 and Tier 2 intervention, understand key components of Check In and Check Out, and be able to describe positive corrective feedback using PIE or PI. As a reminder for some, Positive Behavior Interventions and Support, or PBIS, is a data-driven framework to help establish a social culture and provide behavioral support for students. PBIS is used to help create an effective learning environment using consistent positive behavior expectations. As many of you may know, PBIS is divided among three interconnected phases. Tier 1 interventions are provided to 100% of our students through classroom discussions and activities, signage throughout the building, and daily announcements, to name a few. Tier 2 interventions are designed as an addition to Tier 1 and should reach students who need additional support in demonstrating desired behaviors in school. Tier 3 interventions are designed for students for whom Tier 1 and 2 supports have not been effective and need more intensive support. Put another way, PBIS can be viewed as an ice cream sundae. Tier 1 is the base layer that everyone gets. Some need toppings, so Tier 2 is provided on top of Tier 1. Still others need even more support to encourage positive behavior, so Tier 3 can be viewed as the sprinkles on an ice cream sundae. Here at Raymond Park, our Tier 2 intervention starts with our program called Check In, Check Out. Check In, Check Out is an extension of our Tier 1 intervention. Some students get high-frequency, scheduled, positive contacts with adults. And this should provide for lower efforts for teachers because our Tier 1 activity already exists and is a strong program. The targeted groups for Check In and Check Out are new students who are entering the building mid-year, kind of like orientation to the building, and children with low-level problem behaviors as identified by the number of logs and teacher referrals that they get. And it can be part of a more complex individualized plan for youth on an individualized basis. In Check In, Check Out, students check in with an assigned adult upon arrival at school, where they are positively greeted by the adult. They'll review their school-wide expectations and daily goals. They'll have an opportunity to pick up their daily progress report sheet, and the adult at check-in can provide needed materials in order for the student to be successful throughout the day. At each class, the teacher can provide positive corrective behavioral feedback. Teachers will complete the daily progress report form, and the teacher checks and initials the sheet at the end of the classroom period. At the end of the day, or check out, the assigned checkout person will review the points and the goals that the student has achieved that day and reinforce the student with perhaps token recognition and reinforce the goal if goals are met and ideas that the student could do to make tomorrow an even better day.
In order for check-in and check-out to be most successful, we need to take a look at what it is not and what it is. Just a reminder, it is not a Tier 3 intervention. This is a Tier 2 intervention. It only covers a small portion of our students. Students that need Tier 3 interventions will be moved on to further steps. This is not telling kids who have been naughty or bad about why they are naughty or bad. It is also not an opportunity to point out why students may be irresponsible, disrespectful, unsafe, or other things that you may think that they are. This is not just another thing that students have to do. Remember, this is an opportunity to reinforce positive behaviors. What it is, this is an extension of Tier 1, helping to support about 10% of our school. We are reboosting those positive Tier 1 messages as we focus on Tier 2. This is giving the students who need just a little more nudge so that they don't end up in tier 3 interventions, giving them a positive nudge so they can no longer be part of this and work their way back in with tier 1. This is a quick intervention that should take less than a minute. It's an opportunity for us to have more positive adult contact and give students the direct feedback and learning opportunities that many of these students may not have that positive adult contact. This is an opportunity for them. It's an opportunity for us to reinforce our ideas about CORE. Remember, behavior-specific praise statements are all part of this. So we want to make sure that we identify the behavior that the student is doing, recognize that positive behavior as a part of this, and there may be some corrective behavior and feedback that goes with it as well.
Practicing positive corrective feedback with your students may look different from teacher to teacher, but the idea should still be the same. Remain positive with the student, giving them positive encouragement as well as ways that they can improve their behavior while they're in your class. First, acknowledge what the student did well. Identify a specific behavior or attitude that you appreciate or an attitude that you like to see often in your classroom. Next, you need to explain to the student what improvements in behavior or attitude need to be corrected for the next class meeting. Lastly, you're going to end again on a positive note, encouraging your student so that you can set them up for success for the following class and the next day in your class period. Remember, when you are providing feedback and identifying the students' areas for improvement, tie those praises and suggestions to CORE, which is what we use in our building to promote those positive behaviors. How will these adjustments that you are suggesting illustrate civility, order, respect, or excellence? Now you can watch the accompanying video of a secondary level teacher completing the check-in, check-out process all together. This will give you an idea of how you will confer with your students each and every day.
Before school, students participating in the program check in with the BEP coordinator. This can be anyone in the school who has the flexibility before and after school to work with students.
Have a great day. Hi, Nico. How was your weekend?
It was good. I didn't do much, though.
No skateboarding this weekend?
No.
Hey, your mom wrote a nice note on here. You know, she's really proud of the progress you're making. Okay, you have all of your things ready for today? All your supplies?
Yes, I do.
Great. Here's your progress report for today. And don't forget your Pride ticket. Thanks for checking in with me, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you.
As you saw with Nico, morning check-in is quick. The goal is to provide a positive link with an adult other than the student's teacher, and to make sure students have the necessary materials for the day. During check-in, students pick up a copy of a Daily Progress Report, or DPR, which they will take to each class period. Schools are encouraged to put their school-wide expectations on the DPR, as students who qualify for the BEP are the ones that need more practice following the expectations that have been taught. This further reinforces the overall positive behavior support system for the school. Check-in at the elementary school level is usually the same as in middle school or junior high. However, our experience tells us that some of the younger students will need to have their daily progress reports delivered, as it is often difficult for them to remember to check in. After the student checks in, he or she takes the DPR to the teacher to get feedback throughout the day.
Get out your homework. We're going to start our test in just a little bit. Nico, thanks for being on time. What's up?
Not much.
Okay. Hey, listen, let's have a great day today. Yesterday you had a few problems following directions and talking out during independent math time. Let's work on that, all right?
Okay.
All righty, thanks. Okay, let's check your homework before we start our test today.
At the end of the period, or during natural transitions in elementary school, the teacher gives the student feedback on the DPR. Feedback should be quick, specific, and corrective if there are things students need to work on, but overall positive and encouraging.
Great job. Let's take a look at this. All right. You know what? For getting your work completed and following directions, I'm going to go ahead and give you a 2 for that. All right. And you know what? You were here on time and you were ready to work. Give you a 2 for that. However, during the period, you made a couple of crude comments to Haley, and that wasn't very respectful. So I'm only going to give you a 1 for that one.
I know they're rude. She just pissed me off.
All right. Well, listen. You know what? I know you can do better tomorrow. All right. Thanks, man.
It's important to provide specific feedback on why the student received the score he or she did on the DPR. Here is a negative example of how to provide corrective feedback.
Here.
0.
It is the specific feedback on whether they met expectations or not, along with reinforcement for following and demonstrating the expectations, that will lead to changes in behavior. Remember, the BEP is a positive behavior support system rather than a punishment system. Students should receive lower scores on their DPR if they are engaging in inappropriate behavior, but the DPR should not be used as a venting tool for teachers. At the end of the day, students return to the BEP coordinator to check out.
Hey, Nico, what's up? How was your day today?
It was okay. I'm just glad it's over so I can go to the skate park.
Great. What's your score? Did you make your goal?
Barely. I had a really rough third period because I didn't finish my homework.
Okay, so you know what you have to do then for tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you get this to your mom, and I'll definitely see you tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great night.
Always remember to start with that positive feedback, identify that specific behavior that you would like to see changed, and then end again with encouragement. PI is nothing more than positive corrective feedback.
If you have questions about any of these Tier 2 interventions and check in and check out, please feel free to contact any of the Tier 2 team members that you see on your screen right now.
Please take a moment to fill out the reflection questionnaire below in this Google form to give us some feedback on what you've learned in this session. Thank you.